So, not sure if, we may have people who are still coming in as we get going here with this panel discussion. My name is Sean Jackson. I'm Director of Student Life and Diversity and Inclusion. I want to thank everyone for coming today. And I know there's a couple of things, number of things that are going on right now, including, well, just a number of things going on campus. And so we are going to get started. I want to thank these three individuals who have volunteered to put themselves in the front of you all and just share about their background and their experiences. Just to kind of give you an idea of how this will go today, we're going to have about 50 minutes total. So what we're looking to do is we're going to give each of the panelists an opportunity to say who they are and a little bit about themselves. And then we have a few questions that we're going to ask them. Give them the opportunity to answer those questions, and then we want to open it up for those of you in the audience that would like to share. We think of this as an opportunity here at the university to just better serve our students. This panel discussion, hopefully the volunteers know, and I'm sure they do because we've talked, that they are representing the needs of many students, and so this is really a great opportunity not only for them but for our faculty and staff to kind of tap into them and get a better feel for what are they looking for as students. And so that being said, I think I'd like to start this panel discussion, an African American student having our voices heard with Jordan Adams.
Hello everyone, I'm Jordan Adams. I am a chemical engineer here at OSU Marion. I've been here for a while. I took a summer class. I went to India, so that was really interesting. The opportunity was great. I want to start off with a quote that I really think is important. This is by Tennessee Williams. It's called The Catastrophe of Success. It says, "The sort of life that I had had previous to this popular success was one that required endurance, a life of clawing and scratching along a sheer surface and holding on tight with raw fingers to every inch of rock higher than the one caught hold of before. But it was a good life because it was the sort of life for which the human organism was created."
Thank you, Jordan. Cassandra?
Hey everybody, I'm Cassandra Tucson. I'm originally from Dayton, moved to Marion in '93. I'm 33 years old, probably maybe mid-age, you're right here. I have 2 kids. I'm a non-traditional student, plus I'm a transfer student. I graduated from Marion Technical College in 2013 with my associate's degree in human social services. Right now I'm a senior and I want to be a social worker, and hopefully what I plan on doing with my degree after graduation is either working with older adults or being a case manager in the prison system.
Thank you, Cassandra. And then Adam.
Hi, my name is Adam Murray, and I'm 18. I've only been here for a semester, and what we've had of this semester, I'm a business major currently, but my long-term goal is to go to law school. Let's see, I was born in Washington, D.C., and then we lived in Maryland for about 2 years. I moved to Bedford, Ohio, which is really close to Cleveland, where I lived until my freshman year of high school. And halfway through my freshman year of high school, I transitioned to Stowe, Ohio, which is closer to Akron, where I lived and I currently live. But for this school year, I moved down. I live in the Annex, which is the student housing place across the street, and so I've been here for 7 months, I think it is.
Thank you, Adam. Adam, I hope you don't mind. We're going to start with you, the first question, and we're just going to kind of mix it up like that. So we'll give you the first question. So and then we'll just come down. We want you all to be as candid as you can. I think especially with some of our faculty attending today, they definitely want to hear the truth. They want to hear what you all have to say in order to help and serve our students. So why OSU Marion? Why did you choose OSU Marion?
It wasn't really a complicated decision. I applied to get into main campus, and high school wasn't really the best student. You know, I was smart, but I didn't study, and I hadn't gotten into the habit. And so my GPA was a little low, and so I didn't make it into the main campus, and I just clicked Marion because I was, I looked on I searched all the regional campuses on Google Maps to see like the town they were in, and Marion was pretty far away from home. And that's really is all that's to it. But I'm glad I chose Marion. Marion's a great place. I like it here.
I'm going to ask you all to use the microphone for the sake of the film.
Is this on? Okay. Actually, OSU Marion was not really my first choice of college I wanted to attend. I started back at Ohio State in 2001. But before then, I wanted to go to Urbana University. After visiting the campus, I was like, ooh, I had a summer job. You know, being fresh out of high school, I want to be away from home. Who wouldn't want to be away from home? But, you know, things really didn't work out because of my GPA score. So I ended up coming to Ohio State in Marion. And because it was cheap, rather than go down to the main campus, it was close here and home. So that's the reason why I chose to come to Ohio State.
First off, I'm a Buckeye. I just thought I'd throw it out there. My first year here, we won the championship, just so that we know. I mean, smaller campus, GPA booster because it's a smaller campus and you get the one-on-one to teachers, not because the classes are easy, but because you can talk to them at the class and their hours are open, and it's the actual teacher, not a GTA. Alongside money, I don't want to be in debt. I'm not afraid of it. I know it's going to come one day, but I would rather be in debt when I have to, not when, you know, I'm starting off in college and I don't know what a credit card is or what it means to build your credit or what a credit history is. Because all I think about is I want that Mazda 3 or, you know, that go room and the dip that's all black with the dull paint and all tinted windows, riding around looking real cool, you know. That's what I was thinking about, honestly. And then, you know, it gets put in perspective by your parents, like, oh, that's not how it really worked. So OSU Marion was cheaper. Still, the education was up there, and you can transfer to the main campus after the 2-year program of engineering is done.
Okay. I think I'm going to start with Cassandra on this next question. As you knew I was coming there, did I want to be fair across the board, right? So Cassandra, and this may be somewhat of an overlap from the last question, but what role did your family play when motivating you to come to college?
Man, my mom and my dad, let me tell you, my mom and my dad never went to college. So I was the first one, you know, being a baby in my family, but to go to college. And they was like, we ain't gonna take care of you for the rest of your life, so you gotta get out there and start taking care of us. So I said, you know what? That's right, I wanna be somebody. I'm gonna be somebody, so what better way to do it is go to college and make a career for myself, no matter what it is.
You can pass it either way.
My family has always been really important in my schooling. I was really young, and my mom made sure I knew how to read before I was in preschool. I was writing and doing math. Math has always been my thing, and so I started doing math when I was like 3 or 4, and I was writing and reading at 3 or 4. My parents have always been pushing me to do as well as I could. And so my mom went to college, but she didn't graduate, and my dad went to college. Went to Slippery Rock University in Pennsylvania and graduated with a 4-year degree in business administration, I believe. And so my parents have always been right behind me, pushing me to go to college. It was like, my mom always used to joke, and she said, if you don't go to college, you're getting out of my house and getting a job. But it wasn't true. I knew like if I didn't end up wanting to go to college, my parents would support me no matter what I decided to do. But they always used to say, you're too smart to waste your brain. You need to go and go to college and get your degree because you like school and you enjoy school and it's something that you need to do. And I think I would have, if it wasn't for my parents, I wouldn't have started off as strong as I was all the way back to like preschool and kindergarten. And I think I probably still would have wanted to go to college because that's just who I am. I love learning new things and trying new things. But my parents just made the extra effort and made it easier for me, and they walked me through every step of the way.
Alright, so it was kind of like I'm a role model in my family. I got younger cousins, and they look up to me, and I had to go to college because, you know, I didn't want them to be broke, you know, living check to check. So I had to show that, you know, you can do it. It's not that hard. It's hard. It is hard. I just got to put a front when I'm around them. My mom was also like the person that was just like, you got 3 options. And when she meant 3 options, she really meant 3 options. You was either going to join the, you know, military or Air Force or any of that, or you were going to have a job that wasn't like any other job. It was going to be you was working, like, yeah. She wanted the library. I don't know why she wanted that. Or college. So since she said college, I was like, okay, that's fine. She said she'll pay for it. So since she said she was going to pay for it, I hopped on the opportunity like it wasn't nothing. And I went right there, moseyed myself down to the, you know, what is it, counselor, school counselor. I said, I want to go to OSU. I thought about it, and I said, nope, that's too expensive. I want to go to OSU Marion and get the same education that the main campus gets. So that's what Mom told me to do.
Okay, you can hold on to that if you want. It's up to you all. So next question is, what is the reputation of OSU Marion in your hometown?
That's a great question.
And we just want you to be as honest and candid as you can be.
I'm going to be very honest with you guys and say that absolutely nobody knew about OSU Marion until I came here. And so that's they don't have, everyone's like, when you say OSU, they're like, it's a great school, you know, why did you go? And so they say, but you're in Marion. They're like, where's Marion? Like, is that in Ohio? Or, and so everyone thinks, like, oh, it must be nice, but no one really has any, like, perception. They're just like, oh, it's a place that Adam decided to go. That's all they know about it.
Pretty much what Adam said. Like, really, everybody's like, you live where? In Marion. Where is that at? So that's when you have to pull out a map and say Marion is right here. Ohio State's here too. Oh, you go down to the Columbus campus? No, I go to the regional branch. They got that there? Yes, they do. So really nobody really knows about Ohio State Marion unless, you know, they Google us or YouTube us or one or the other.
So I got about 7 different reactions. I was working at the city of Columbus and at the public utilities, and a few people, Melody Clark, and extras, they basically said that they came to OSU Marion for like their first year, and then they went to main campus. And this was like back in the day because they're older than me and they're already in their careers and everything. It was like, oh, so I know Alloway, you know, you can work there. It's like a water treatment plant if you want to work at a lab down there in Marion. They grew up here. They knew OSU Marion. My mom, she didn't know what OSU Marion was. What else? Oh, and one of my principals knew of OSU Marion, and one of the teachers at my high school worked here and then was traveling back and forth, so they kind of, you know, pushed me and said, oh yeah, it's a good school, go there. So that was pretty much it.
All right. So next question. What is it like to be an African American student on a predominantly white campus
That's a good question.
here at OSU?
That's a really good question. But me personally, because I don't know about everybody else, because everybody else has their, you know, their opinion about things, but I really pay attention about the race on campus. All I see are students who are trying to accomplish their goals and get their dream job at the end. The professors here are trying to help the students get to where they want to go. Whether it's meeting with your professor before class, after class, doing their office hours, or even talking to your advisors to try to figure out what classes that you need to take in order for you to graduate.
Being an African American student on a predominantly white campus is interesting. It's neither good or bad. The way I was raised, my parents really tried to get me to not think about race as a thing. They let me know that I was African American without letting it impede on my life. And so when I was 3 or 4, my 2 best friends were, one was, she was adopted, but she was from China, and she was adopted at a really young age, and my other friend she was white. And so I was just like, we were walking around, they've been my best friends, and the Chinese girl, her name's Vicky, is still one of my closest friends. And so I've always grown up in a very diverse place, and so when I see the world, I don't usually, I try not to think about race, but it does cross my mind, and a lot of times, you know, you can feel it's not the same, like even though I lived in a predominantly African American school district when I was in elementary school, and so a lot of the people around me were African American, and then after that, for high school, I moved to a predominantly white high school, and it was a lot different there, and it was partially like socioeconomic status and a few other things like that caused a difference. But I still, every day I went home, I saw my brother, my mother, my father, who were all African American too. And now, I sort of lost that. It's not the same. I don't get to see people who look like me as often. But it's just different. It's not bad, it's not good, it's just different. So, a lot of times I think there's another student who couldn't make it. Unfortunately, he's caring for his sick child. He was supposed to sit on the panel today, and we became friends because he saw me walking in the hallway. He was like, you know, we got to stick together. And so I made friends with him, and then there's a bunch of us who sit in the student center and hang out, and of all races, and we all hung out, and I made a lot of friends through him. And so it's different, but it's still nice here, and I really love it here.
So, okay. When I try to describe someone, because I don't know their name, it's kind of hard to do that because it's like, it's too similar. You can't do it. But if I'm trying to describe someone who's, you know, African American, so okay, I know who that person is. It's easier. And then like when I start speaking on something like a rap song or something, they know it like immediately. They know the rapper, they know, you know, what day it was made. They know more facts about these songs and the culture sometimes than I do. But then when I speak on something that's like Mike Brown or Trayvon Martin or who else? Eric Garner, the list can go on and on and on and on and on, and it's just like, okay, I know the story, but I didn't do research on it. But yeah, we do research on who Drake, you know, dating now, or who Kanye's song won't be put out, and how can we get that sooner, and where's the legal download, and it's quite, you know, it's disappointing. It's really disappointing because it's like, okay, I mean, we can speak on this all day. I don't have a problem speaking about, you know, Stephen Curry, LeBron James. I don't have a problem speaking about, oh, no, I love basketball. That's great. You know, did you see it? Did you see the NBA dunks? Oh, yeah, I seen him. It was beautiful. Did you see him? He made it. That's all I know. The football players, Ezekiel Elliott, Corey, I don't mind speaking about these people. They're great. They're inspirational to, like, the younger generation. But there's just more than what, you know, seems to be put out there. Like, we don't speak on the actual issues that it is wrong to shoot someone, you know, but we tend to like try to cover it over. You know, that's not really a conversation that anyone wants to have, but we can definitely speak on Kanye's baby Saint West, and it's a big production, or Kim Kardashian's Kimoji app, and it's weird because it's like growing up where I grew up, I call my best friend on the phone and be like, yo, Uniqua, look, did you see what just happened? And we're having an actual conversation on solutions to solve, okay, so we see that this happened, and this happened. What if we change the fact that they're being taught to do the wrong things? What if we change the fact that the educational system is wrong? I mean, in these poor neighborhoods where you go to school at your local school and they don't get books, they don't get funding like other schools do. We speak on that. But yeah, we do, you know, drift off into like the movies and like, oh, did you see that movie with that? You know, we do that with music as well. But like, when it's just, when you come here and they know so much about this, that, and other, but yet they don't have any opinions on anything else but that, it's like, so you didn't hear about it, or did you hear about it, or, you know, what's up? And they were like, oh yeah, I heard about it, but I don't really want to speak on that. Okay. All right, interesting. You know, I mean, that's really much what you do. You just go on about your business. But then when they bring it up, they don't really know what to say about it. They don't have any, like, they don't use their critical thinking. They don't put any information out on how to get solutions, but they just immediately go to one side. I think it should just be leveled out as far as that. What else?
Move on to the next question.
I was still on the question. Where? Oh, I mean, it's cool being African American here. It's cool. People are nice.
So next question. Thank you. What was the reason why you decided to come to a majority white campus? A lot of times there are opportunities to go to a campus where there are a larger population of folks, like Adam said, that look like you, or what have you. What was the decision for you, or why did you just make the decision to come to a majority white campus?
It's not that it didn't cross my mind, but it wasn't something that I really weighed into my decision. And I did have, I believe, I may be wrong about this, I'm pretty sure Kent State has a lot more African Americans. And I lived right there, and I was always an option. My dad actually works there, but I don't get like free tuition or anything there because he works for a company contracted through. But so I had options to go to places, and then of course you get the letters in the mail about the the campuses that are targeting African American students. And I wanted to go to Ohio State, and it wasn't about race, it wasn't about color, it was about, this is where I want to get my education. I like Columbus. I'd come down to Ohio State tons of times in high school for different, we went to Stage for Science Olympiad, and that was here. And we went to, I did a tour of Columbus with my street law class. We came down here, and we toured like the State House, and it was really fun. And I love the Columbus area, and so I wanted to go to Columbus, Ohio State, and I didn't make it in. And so I came to Marion. And I have to say, now that my parents made sure that I knew, they said it might be a little difficult coming and see, to a place where other people don't look like you. And he said, we were here, and I believe it was while Chris Trapp was speaking, and he leaned over and he's like, we were looking around the room, and he's like, there's not too many people that look like us around here. And I was like, and I looked around, and we got home, and we were talking about what I had seen here, and he's like, he looked at me and he said, we've raised you to not look at race as a really a factor or a character of people's personalities, but not being, like I said, it's difficult not going home to someone who's the same as you all the time, or not seeing people around who are the same as you all the time, who look like you. And he said that can be difficult for a person. And he says, if you think you'll be all right with it, that's fine. But I just want to make sure you know what you're getting into. So my dad made sure that I knew that it was a predominantly white campus and it was difficult, but it wasn't something that really governed my long-term decision.
For me, to be honest, I didn't have the finances nor the GPA to go to the African American school. Money was a struggle. Mom had to work 2 jobs just to, provide for us. So, yeah, the finances and GPA, it's best for me to stay in state, go to a college that's close to home. No matter if I did go to an African American school, I can still get the same education here if I went to a school that was out of state.
I didn't really think about it, but then when I really started looking around and seeing, people who weren't black like me, I said, you know what, let's come to this school and shake it up. Let's show them that we can excel in any condition, we can thrive under anything. That's no problem, definitely not a problem. So when I did come here and I found out there was just like a lot of white people, it's okay. I mean, y'all still gonna be my friend regardless. I'm just saying, like, I don't care what color you are. It's not, you got skin and you bleed just like I do. So why make a big deal of it? But since I am here and you have a problem with me here, if you do, then let's shake it up and let me show you that I can improve myself and be, I don't know, just the same, the same as you. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just color of skin. I mean, just coming to a white school didn't do anything. Seeing white faces didn't do anything. It just made me want to go harder and prove my point that it doesn't matter where you come from, no matter what your class is, you can still excel. That's it.
Okay, so and we'll open it up for questions here in a couple minutes. We're going to want to try to ask a couple more questions and then want to give an opportunity for the audience if they have questions. So the next question I wanted to ask is, do you feel, we're going to go to question 9 that I had for you. Do you feel like an educator, when coming in contact with people who have never met a black person, or maybe coming from a rural background, or somewhere where they maybe have not had very much experience with people of color, do you feel like an educator? Tell me what your thoughts are or experiences.
I sure do. I sure do. I mean, I get more questions on my hair than anything. What products how do you get it curly? It's curly. Very simple, it's curly. And I thank you for trying to understand how it works, because you never know. Like, if you've never seen it before, how can I be mad at you for not, understanding how to take care? I can't. So I just can say what I have to say, and then, you take it the way you want to. Not only that, is, when you ask questions like, basically, what high school did you go to? I have to make sure that it's understood that I went to a nice high school. Like, I went to a good I'm not from the block, I don't rep no blood or crip, I'm just me, and I'm just trying to do the best that I can to improve my family, and like I said, my cousins previously, to make sure that they do the best that they can do. And that's the truth, because they do ask, about the hair, they do ask about, what high school did you come to, come from, what you're doing here. And I'm like, okay, I'm a chemical engineer. I came from Fort Hays High School in Columbus, Ohio, on Jack Gibbs Boulevard. My principal was great. My superintendent was great. I went to school almost every day, except for 2. Messed up my attendance. I know I didn't get the little sticker, how you go to the wards. I didn't get that. It was all bad. I had a 4.2 GPA on a 4-point scale, so, what does that tell you? I just, I answer the questions like you're supposed to, with like be professional and answer the question straight up, because that's what they want. They don't want to hear no beat around the bush answer. They want to hear, where'd you come from? How do you do your hair? And, and so on, so on, so on. That's true. I do got a question. How do you do your hair?
It's
a process.
With me, I've been around for like 33 years now. Everybody that I encountered, they have already met somebody that's African American. But when if I'm talking to another black person, like, girl, I'm about to get a perm in my hair, and they're like, oh, okay. and you ask a white person, you about to get, oh, you getting your hair curled. No, so you have to sit there and tell them, no, a straightener and a perm, it's the same thing, but we call it perm and, you know, they call it a straightener. So it's like, we're still getting the same thing, so it just makes our hair straight and makes you guys' hair curly. It's true. I mean, perm, relaxers, straighteners, it's all gonna make your hair all beautified anyway. Except for
Or chemically change,
all the above.
genetic defects for the babies. Well, I mean, I'm just saying, just throwing some out there, you know. I did my research.
Overall, my answer is yes. I do feel like an educator, but not the same way that they do. I don't have the wonderful, long, flowing locks of hair to educate people on how to do my hair. I wake up in the morning and I brush it. It's that simple. But my I think it's a lot different because, like Sandra said, most of the people I meet here they know black people exist and they've seen them before. Some of them, the difference is when some people come from a primarily white background, they haven't met too many African American people, and they haven't been friends, like really close friends to many African American people. And I'm speaking more from my experiences in high school when I moved to a primarily white high school, where there was, I think we had about 1,800 students in our school, and in my freshman year yearbook, I think there was 100 African American students in it. And so there was a good amount of us, but it wasn't a huge, as in that everybody had a friend who was African American. And one of the things that I noticed is that they often, they know how to treat you to not make you mad, and that they don't want to offend you. And that's a lot of people, and I think that's how people approach everyday life regardless of race. You see someone, and if you see someone that's a little different than you, you're always cautious. And then when you step up that relationship and become like a friend with them, it's not, they don't know exactly how to remove those barriers and be like an actual friend. And so it's a learning process for some people. And I know one of my favorite things is I always know when you become close friends, there's a point in the relationship where they will make a race joke, and that's not, and I don't think it's a bad thing. They'll mention how I picked the Great Jolly Rancher out of the bag, and I think that sort of marks the point where you become comfortable with each other as people, and I think it's very important because we can talk about our differences, and they can ask me questions if they have any about how I grew up and all that kind of stuff, and how we might be different. And I think I feel like an educator as to, a lot of times it's like a first experience for people to be friends with an African American student. And once you get to that point where you're really close friends and you become comfortable around each other, they realize that we're people just like they are, and even though we may have our differences, it's not, being African American isn't any different from someone who's in high school. You have the jocks, you have the nerds. That's a difference, and we have I'm a big nerd. I love video games and sci-fi, and you have it's not too much big of a difference from being African American and white. There's differences in personalities and differences in backgrounds, but at the end of the day, as Renee said, we all bleed blood. It's all red when we bleed, and we all look the same. And we don't all look the same, but we're all people. And so that's my experience.
I want to ask this. This is important. In addition, I want to say that this is all about breaking stereotypes as well. There's a lot, like he said, the Great Jolly Rancher thing. Not all black folk eat fried chicken. Not all of them like Kool-Aid. Not everybody eat watermelon. Not everybody approves of Michelle Obama and, Barack Obama. Some of them love Ben Carson, some of them love Donald Trump. I mean, it's not, we can't categorize or stereotype everybody and say, okay, everybody likes this, that's black. No, that's not how it works. Everybody hates cops. Nobody, no, that's not how it works. There's some people who are cops that are African American. There's some people who are educators as African Americans in the professional world. There are some people who take care of their kids. You know, there's just those stereotypes. That's why I'm here. You know, I'm not here to just sit there and just look pretty and shake my head when you're talking about it. I'm here to speak up and say, no, my dad was there. You know what I'm saying? I'm there for that reason. I'm not just about the money. I'm also about improving my community that I came from. I'm not just here to, I'm about to make bank when I go to college and finish. No, I'm here to give back, go to half-price books, and give books to students who want to learn or who want to educate themselves. That's what I'm here for. That's what I want to do, break stereotypes and give back. That's it.
Beautiful. I do want to, oh, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say I love chicken, but go ahead.
I just came from a class and I told them the same thing. I took a poll, a quick poll, and I said, how many of you think of the stereotype that black people love chicken, and saw a lot of hands that went up and they kind of were somewhat embarrassed. And I said, how many of y'all in here like chicken? And they were like, just about every hand went up. I said, what about watermelon? Just about every hand went up. So yeah, that being said, I do want to let you all know when you want to apologize. A couple of faculty members had to leave, of course, for classes, and so that's the scrunch on time. But I just want to let you all know ahead of time that they wanted to stay here. They have classes. That being said, we'd like to open up for the audience to ask questions to our panel. You're welcome to at this time.
Don't be scared. You, sir, in the back. Yes.
I just happened to be passing by, but I'm intrigued by what I've heard so far. I have no idea what exactly is this.
African American panel discussion, and it's called Having Our Voices Heard. So it's opportunity for we have three panelists who are just sharing about their personal experience, their background, as well as their experience here at OSU Marion.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also, is there any way that I can get involved, or any way that I can be of help, or anything?
Of course.
Of course there is.
I have a feeling that this program, this panel, will be more often, more frequent, I believe, right?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, definitely.
I just wanted to say that with our student leader, Sean Jackson, you're a perfect candidate for our Men of African Descent Club. We have a student from Africa and a group of young men who are African American, and we meet on Thursdays at 12:30. I'm not sure if it's every Thursday, every other Thursday. We're sort of figuring that out now. And so you're welcome to stop by, and I'm sure if you talk to Sean afterward, he'd be willing to give you lots of information.
Thank you.
I think.
Any other questions? Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, you're gonna cut me off.
I'm sorry.
No, I think with you guys having the African American Men Club, I'm not gonna say it for us to have an African American Women Club because there are a lot of women on campus more than men. So maybe us ladies need to get together and form a women club of our own, not just for African Americans, but just for anybody. You guys need more to say?
Oh yeah. There should be definitely a club for African American women. There is not. Whoever wants to start that, go ahead. I'll join. I'll be a participant. I have a question on here, which is tripping me out. It says, "What would you do to encourage more African Americans to attend college?" And just to speak on that real quick, Black women are the most educated in the United States of America. So it's not a fact that to get more students in college, just to get more students in general to college, not just African Americans, because there's a lack of intelligence out here. A lot of people are like, oh, I can just work my way up from the bottom at Kroger and get a job, and that's scary because if you think about it, we need people who are go-getters and that just don't want to settle, and they want to go to college and make better for themselves. So.
that is a good question, so I was wondering if we was ever gonna get to that question.
Yeah.
But my advice to high schoolers who, are looking to go to college, the best advice I can tell them is go to college, follow your dream, and don't give up. And I'll also tell them that, if you want to succeed in life, you gotta follow your dream. But there's no such thing as a failure. It's just a minor setback. You never fail in life. You just try to move 2 steps forward. Somehow, some way, you fall 2 steps back.
I think they said everything that I would have said on that question. Are there any other questions coming from the crowd about, just
We'd like to hear from you.
obviously things?
We'd like to hear from you, please.
I'm just kind of curious, like, as far as this school here, like, has it seemed like a friendly atmosphere to you guys, or have you guys experienced people, like, do you feel like they treat you differently or even discriminate against you just because of your race?
I actually wrote one of my questions, and this is from my point of view, so they might have something different, but being here has been very, it's a very accepting community. As she asked if we feel like, as African Americans, if you have been discriminated against, or if it's different being here on this campus, and I think everyone here is an open mind, and I think most people here, honestly, just their goal when they see an African American student, and they notice that we're African American. It's there's not that many of us. You see someone who's different, you notice it, and they're really accepting of us, and they, in my opinion, from my experience, they really just want to try to treat us like everybody else, and so it's a great community here. And that's from my experiences.
That's funny that you asked that question because I took a class, was this spring semester? I want to say last year in the spring, it was from my social work class, and it was a diversity class. And the teacher, I love Miss Kelly, love her death, but one of the questions was, have you ever woke up in the morning and decided one day that you want to be white? I sure did, considering I was the only African American in that class anyway. Because we were sitting there talking about white privileges. Yeah, there was a whole bunch of white privileges back during the 1960s and the 1800s because us as African Americans, we were put through slavery. We were put up to auction for the owner to buy us for what, 5 cents, 1 cent? We never had that, we say. We never had a voice.
And now we do. We're doing this.
We're doing this now. We got a voice. We're going to be heard, by golly. And Trump will not be president. Just saying. Put that up, Lord.
So, can you repeat your question one more time?
I just wondered as far as like this campus, like if you felt like it was a friendly atmosphere, or like if you had ever felt like somebody treated you differently or discriminated against you just because of your race?
Regardless of race or gender, because they go hand in hand. I always walk like I'm on eggshells. I'm always have my guard up because you have to. You never know who's watching you or who's not. So I feel like it's a friendly atmosphere, but usually, you never know what someone goes home and says about you, or you never know. So you gotta keep your guard up, and you have to be careful, and you have to know who your friends are and who's definitely not your friend. And you just gotta do the best you can do for yourself, and that's about it. Oh, I have a statement. So for one thing I would like to say with going off on the dreams and chase your dreams, basically don't so much focus on having a backup plan, but put more focus on plan A, because that's going to be the plan that you're going to more than likely go with anyway. So that's
All
my
right.
experience.
Linda, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I just wanted to see if you have a question, and maybe there might be a question that you might have that think that other faculty or staff might need to know or want to know.
I was very interested in how you thought that we could do a better job encouraging African Americans of first generation college students coming to Ohio State Marion. I'm really, not from a faculty perspective, but just from a curiosity perspective, I'm interested, Jordan A., when you say, you know, I keep my guard up, and Cassandra, when you say, well, we should have an African-American women's club if there's an African-American men. So if I were to walk into your African-American women's club, how would the conversation be different from the conversation that you have ordinarily?
I like to put up a spotlight, y'all.
Sorry.
It's a good question.
I went to Ohio Wesleyan for 2 years, and there we had a African American Women's Club called Sisters United, and then the African American Men's Club was BMF, Black Men of the Future. And going to a school like Ohio Wesleyan is kind of similar to this, but the diversity is a lot different. There's a lot of international students. So being a minority and then going to a school with international students and still being a minority is very frustrating. So we would have, everyone's welcome to come to the meetings. Anyone can come, no matter your color, your creed, your age, whatever. Everyone's welcome. The only difference that I personally take when there are non-minorities in the room is try not to say white people. I try not to say white people because it feels like, to me when I say I feel like I'm blaming. So I try not to use that phrase. I try not to say that. Other probably would be to use less slang because it's slang so everyone doesn't know what the words are and what they mean, so I try to explain what the words are. Otherwise, I mean, it would be the same conversation. You came into the meeting, so you're in our zone, you're in our area, we are free to say what we want. You can raise your hand and say, well, I mean, it's a relationship. It's all about the relationship you have with your group members and the relationship that you want to have. If you come in and you automatically assume that you're a part of the group, you're not. You are still an outsider, but we are welcoming you into our circle for the time being. But when you leave our circle, the things that we said and things that we did don't leave our circle with you. So that would not be your place to take what we said and to quote us and to summarize what we said, because our delivery and the way you would say it most likely won't match up. Just like I would never leave here and be like, well, Jordan said that. I wouldn't say that. I would try up like, well, she said this, but you should probably go talk to her about what exactly she said so you can know for sure that that's what was right.
And I'm going to apologize, but I think we have about one more minute, so if we get to touch on that because the next class is coming in. But I do want to say that we are looking to continue this conversation, and there will be another opportunity. We will go right to work on that immediately with our young men's group, and Devion, we will be talking. But is there anybody who wanted to address that outside? It's beautiful.
Did you want me to, oh, that was great. I agree. Did you want me to address why I have my guard up?
Yeah.
Yes.
Just like anyone would in a new situation, you always have your guard up. You're always aware of what's going around. You're always watching and making sure that you have one foot going in front of the other so that you don't.
I don't.
You don't?
No.
You don't
And
go.
I feel that there are lots of situations that as a faculty person or as a white person, I can walk into situations and I don't have to have my guard up. Like, no, I don't.
So, example, so like you're a huge Ohio State fan, right?
Yeah.
So if you went to a conference at Michigan State, you
Yeah.
would just walk into the room and be like, Ohio State, what up? Probably not.
Probably
You would try to find those fans, those people who are gonna try to get to know you and look past the fact that you like Ohio State, even though you're on Michigan's campus and everyone else there is from Michigan.
Yeah, but that's a different thing. So finding people who agree with me or agree with my philosophy, like, I'm a crazy liberal, so, I find those people. So that's different from having to have, and maybe I'm mishearing you, but when you say I have to have my guard up, everybody does, and I'm like, yeah, no, everybody doesn't.
That's my understanding.
I thought that was pretty straight on because if I go, I mean I can see where you're coming from, but I can definitely see where she's coming from because if I go to a OSU Michigan game and I'm wearing OSU stuff, I'm gonna have my guard up because they're gonna be looking at me and pointing and talking and implying and be like, we don't like OSU here, and they're gonna start attacking me with those, you lost this, and then I'm gonna feel threatened because now you personally attacking me just because I have an OSU shirt on, regardless if I'm white, green, blue, yellow. I'm still gonna have my guard up in that situation. But since I understand where you're coming from, I have my guard up because I am African American in a predominantly white school. I have my guard up to make sure that I don't do anything that's going to put a target on my back, because I don't need no more targets. I have like 10. I probably got 10 on me right now, so I'm okay with, you know, just the 10 that I have. I got 5 from the annex. I got 5 from here. If you want, I'm just saying.
And
I'm
I
okay.
think you had that question with Cassandra, and we're going to,
No, she answered what.
Oh, she did?
She got me stuck on that question.
Okay.
so.
we want to thank you all for coming today, and as I said, I know that there was a lot more that we could kind of uncover. There's a lot of layers to this, and thank you, those of you who came and helped out with this. And as we said, we will be looking to continue the conversation. And once again, thanks.